Oh, hello again. It's so great to see you back. Guess what we're making tonight? I'm making some rosemary chicken breasts. This is one of my husband's favorites, and it's one of my favorite things to make because it's so easy. It's perfect for a weeknight. It's perfect if you're entertaining, and hopefully it's going to be perfect tonight. So let's get started. I've laid out some wax paper, and this is one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. I use it all the time because it makes cleanup so easy. And I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees. And I'm going to turn that setting down after I put the chicken in. But for now, I want that oven to get firing hot. So here we go. It's just my husband and I tonight. So I'm going to do 2 chicken breasts. These things are huge. It's about $6 a package, and I assure you that even with only using 2 chicken breasts, we'll have plenty of leftovers, and I'm going to do something with that tomorrow. Got an extra one here. I'm going to save that for later, do something else with it, maybe make some chicken soup or something. Now, I call this rosemary chicken, but it is stuffed with something. It's stuffed with goat cheese and cream cheese. Now, don't let that scare you. Everybody hears goat cheese that's not familiar with it, and you think, oh no, that's disgusting, but it's not. It's absolutely delicious. But I have not convinced my husband of that quite yet. So I'm doing 2 versions tonight. I'm doing one with a cream cheese filling, and the other one for me is going to be goat cheese and cream cheese together. I found over the years making this recipe that the goat cheese sometimes can be a little bit strong. So I tone it down a little bit with cream cheese, and don't let that scare you either. It's gonna, in the oven, it's gonna have this creamy, delicious flavor that I just can't explain. You're gonna have to try it yourself. But anyway, it's not like a bite of cream cheese. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, I can babble on forever. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get your chicken breast, skin on, bone in. That's super important. And there's a little pocket under the skin. See that? We're about to stuff that and make it glorious. But go ahead, get your pocket open on both of them. Here's another one. There's a little membrane here, and you're gonna break through that. Don't worry, my hands are clean. Just wash them, cook's best friend. So get that open and go ahead and get that pocket. Here we go. Here's another nice little pocket on the chicken breast. I'm gonna go all the way back on that. If you break the membrane, that's okay. You can definitely, it's really not gonna matter, but I try not to do that. Okay, let me wash my hands real quick, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, got clean hands again, and I've got some cream cheese here, and I also have the goat cheese. And I'm going to do mine first. I'm going to take, for mine, just about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to put that in my bowl here. Set this aside. I've already got this goat cheese open. This is just plain goat cheese, no flavors. You don't want any flavors. And I'm just going to put about a tablespoon in my bowl. They're softened a little bit. They're easier to work with if you're mixing it together and it's soft. If you're only doing cream cheese or if you're only doing goat cheese, don't worry about this. Don't worry about softening it. And oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I set my chicken out a little bit earlier. I don't want it quite room temperature, but I do want to get that chill off of it, because it's important when you're roasting a chicken not to pull it straight from the refrigerator and stick it right in the oven, because the outside is going to cook super fast, and as you know, the inside is not going to get done. So if I take the chill off of it a little bit, it makes things a lot easier. Okay, I've got this mixed up. This is my goat cheese and cream cheese. Look how, ooh, that looks so good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I just know my husband will love this. Maybe I can sneak some in there. Shh, don't tell him. Okay, I've got that set aside, or I have this here. And I'm gonna take this chicken breast, and what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get that pocket open, and I'm gonna scoop this out with my hand. As easy as that. Maybe I'm not gonna use all of it, but I've got it in my hand here. Don't be afraid to do this, please, because it's so easy. You're gonna wow your family and friends, and you're gonna take that, okay, see this here? And you're gonna tuck that away right there in that little pocket. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten it out. Look at that, how easy. That just smooths right out. Oh, I love this recipe. One of my favorites. It's okay to just wipe your hands off on this. And I'm gonna set this one aside. Okay, now I'm gonna get the other one. I've opened my pocket here, and I'm gonna get some of this cream cheese. Don't wanna touch anything. There we go. Okay, now I've got a piece of cream cheese. I would say that's about 2 tablespoons. You can add more or less if you like. I know just what Jimmy is gonna want, and that's about the perfect size for him. And again, I've slipped it in that pocket, super easy. See, my membrane is still attached, so this is gonna make it nice when it cooks. And again, I'm gonna push this down, just get it evenly all over that chicken breast. That looks so, so good. And I'm gonna wipe the leftovers on the skin. And so I've got my husband's and I've got mine here. Okay, let me wash my hands again. Be right back with you. Okay, clean hands again. I do that a lot when making this recipe, because there's a little back and forth technique. I have a large cast iron skillet. You don't have to have a cast iron to make this recipe. You can do it in just a roasting pan. Sometimes I buy those tin foil pans and I make it in this. I just like the skillet because it makes a great kitchen to table transfer. Cast iron's kind of in right now, so why not take advantage of it? I've got a little bit of olive oil here, and I'm putting some olive oil, not much, just enough to coat the bottom of your pan. Doesn't have to be perfect. There's a good bit of fat on this chicken, so it's going to create a nice, nice little base there. So I've got my olive oil, ooh, and I've got my rosemary. You know, when I use rosemary, usually I have some growing in the yard, but it's been so hot this summer I haven't been really good about watering it. But I pick up these little things from the grocery store. They're in the herb section, and I can cut off the tops of them, and then I can plant the rest of it in the ground in a corner somewhere. And you've got fresh rosemary or basil or whatever you want anytime you want it, for the most part. So let me grab some scissors. Let me use these scissors. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna cut off a couple of sprigs. There we go, there's one. and 2. Sometimes if I really am in the mood for a lot of rosemary, I'll take some of this and I'll put it under the skin. Tonight, I'm not going to do that. So, whoops, let me go ahead and prep the bottom of my chicken. I'm again taking a little bit of olive oil. You don't have to use olive oil. You can use butter. You can use any kind of oil that you have that doesn't have a strong flavor, and use that. Sometimes I use cooking spray. Yep, I do. You're taking some kosher salt. I'm gonna salt both of them. Don't skimp on the salt. The salt brings out such great flavor in this. And I'm gonna take my rosemary sprig and I'm gonna put that on the bottom of my pan, and I'm gonna lay that chicken right over the rosemary. That looks so good. Go ahead, put a little bit more olive oil on here. Yummy. That's for the top. Take a little bit more kosher salt. Again, salt it really good. This looks so good. Hey, baby. My husband just got home. Guess what I'm making for dinner? No, we've got some rosemary chicken. Yes, the stuffed kind. Okay, well, let me say hello to him real quick, wash my hands again, and get this cleaned up. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm all washed up again, 3rd time's the charm, and I've got my chicken over here in my pan. I'm gonna make this a 1-dish wonder, and I've got some potatoes. They're already washed, and these are the Yukon Gold potatoes. My husband loves these. They're his favorite. Mostly all my family loves these. My mom is the one that got me started on these potatoes. They're so delicious. And I'm just gonna put these all around my chicken. I'm gonna let them fall as they will. See, I'm gonna do one more. That way I'll have a few leftovers. And then I'm going to add a sweet potato. Jimmy and I both love sweet potatoes. I especially love them. I love them sweet. I love them savory. I have a sweet potato. I'm just gonna half that. Boy, this one's hard. Oh, there we go. I think I'll just use half of that in this recipe tonight. I'm gonna cut off the ends. There we go. I'm gonna half this. And I'm gonna cut this in bite-sized pieces. All right, so I'm gonna sprinkle this around. This is already looking so good. You know what? I'm gonna do the other half. That looks so good. I think we just need a few more. And isn't it pretty? It's just a pretty dish. Even when it's not cooked yet, it's pretty. Okay. Again, I'm gonna cut it in half. Then I'm gonna cut it in bite-sized pieces. This is gonna cook up and be absolutely delicious. Okay, so I've got that there. That's done. Let me get my pan. I'm going to take the olive oil once again, just drizzle that lightly over my potatoes. If you want to add some carrots or whatever you like, onions, just the sky's the limit. It's what you like. This is what we like at our house, and so I'm doing this one tonight, but sometimes when we have company, I'll spruce it up a little bit. But I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit more salt on these potatoes, And as the chicken cooks, the juices from the chicken is going to give these potatoes the most awesome flavor. Oh, let me get my cutting board back out real quick. I'm going to take a little bit of this rosemary, cut some of this up, sprinkle this over the potatoes, a little bit over the chicken. I don't want this to burn. This is one of those things that you want to take it easy on as you're cooking. That's why I put the rosemary underneath the chicken breast, because it's going to give it that flavor, and as it cooks and the juices come out, it's actually going to flavor the potatoes as well. But I will finish this off with a little bit of fresh rosemary. I'm just going to put this. Always remember, when you're sprinkling your salt or your garnish, hold it up high, and that way it's going to evenly distribute itself. Like this, just a little bit more. Put that on the chicken. That's so good. When you do it low, it's obviously going to just fall where you put it. And just a tiny bit more. I like salt. There we go. All right. That's it. It's as easy as that. Now, I have my oven heated up at 400. I'm going to turn it down to 350 in about 10 minutes, but when I open this oven door, my heat's going to come out. So I want my oven really, really hot, firing hot to start off with. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Look at that. And I'm going to set my timer on 10 minutes. When the 10 minutes is up, I'm going to bring my temperature down to 350, and I'm going to cook the chicken for an additional about 50 minutes. If it starts getting real brown, I'll tint it with some tin foil, but usually for this size chicken breast, it takes about an hour. So give me a few minutes and I'll see you back here. Don't go away. Bye. Okay, let's check on the chicken. Oh, wow, that looks good. I've got my temperature down to 350. Hear that sizzle? Sounds like birds singing. Oh, it is. Okay, it's getting a little brown, so I'm going to take some tin foil and put it over the top and just set it on there. I've got 26 minutes to go, so we'll see you in a bit. Smelling good in here. Okay, I just checked the chicken and I think it's ready to come out of the oven. It's been cooking about an hour. So, let me get this out. Oh, it smells so good in here. This is heavy. Oh, so this is definitely going to be a two-hander. Oh, can you hear it? Oh, it looks so good. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? Oh, yum. I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and it's so important to allow your chicken or beef or any protein that you're cooking a little time to rest. If we were to cut into this right now, the juice would just go everywhere, and it's going to anyway, but we want all of those juices to settle back in and redistribute themselves. So I'm going to tint this again, and I'll see you at the dinner table. It's going to be a good night at the Phillips tonight. Well, it's finally dinner time. Look how good the chicken turned out. It is so yummy looking, and the potatoes. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Y'all have got to try this recipe. It's absolutely delicious. And these two chicken breasts and potatoes will make us, I'm sure, a couple of meals. So excuse us while we have our dinner. I hope you've had a great time. I know I have. And we'll see you next time. Honey, it's time for dinner.
I'm on my way.
Good night.